Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Beth, and I am from the Education Alliance. The Education Alliance exists to mobilize business and community support for public schools. And one of the things that we are passionate about is partnerships that increase college access for students. So today's virtual visit is made possible with support from the West Virginia Gear Up program. And today we are excited to be visiting BridgeValley Community and Technical College for a 50-minute virtual visit. Just a few things throughout the visit, I'm going to be stopping 3 times for a Q&A session. And teachers, good news for you, we have a $20 gift card to Amazon to give away, one $20 gift card that will be drawn at random at the end of the call, and one lucky winner that chats with us when I ask questions. We're going to call it a chat challenge, and that's a way for you to interact with us. You at the end of the visit can win a $20 gift card. So when I ask questions, please pause, talk to your students, and then chat their answers so we can be interactive. Also, if at any time your students have questions, please send all of those questions in the chat. So the chat function is going to be the way that we answer questions. Now, I'm going to turn the tour over to Hannah Waters from BridgeValley Community and Technical College.
Hi, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. My name is Hannah Waters. I'm an admissions counselor here at BridgeValley Community and Technical College. We are located in 2 different cities in West Virginia, our primary campus being in South Charleston and our other campus being in Virginia. So I am currently sitting in our brand new esports room. BridgeValley is currently the only community and technical college to have an esports program, which is extremely exciting. We're just starting that up. And what that means is that students that join with us will be able to compete with other schools across the country to earn scholarships in esports. So if you're into gaming, that's definitely something for you to check out. It's a new thing that we offer. We just started a brand new lab. I'll move out of the way so you all can take a good look at it. We have about seats in here so far. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to highlight because I think it's very exciting. I'm going to very briefly also go over what's called the West Virginia Invest Grant. These are a couple of the things that I want to highlight about BridgeValley that I think are exciting. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. At BridgeValley, we offer associate degrees and certifications. And we are with the state of West Virginia. So there is a new grant that has only been out for a couple of years called the West Virginia Invest Grant. What this means is that if you qualify for this grant, then your tuition will be paid through the state of West Virginia. I will say that the majority of our programs qualify for this program. And the way that you can figure out if the program that you're interested in qualifies for this is that you will go to collegeforwestvirginia.com, and then you will scroll down. On this page, it will give you the option to find a program. And this grant is good for any community and technical college in the state. So here we are, BridgeValley Community and Technical College. And then this gives you a whole list of these certificate programs and the associate degree programs that qualify for West Virginia Invest. They do have some rules for West Virginia Invest and qualifying for it. And you do have to follow your FAFSA. That's a part of the process for the West Virginia Invest Grant. I will say that the majority of our programs qualify for this grant except for general education. They do have some requirements, and I want to go over that a little bit because I'm sure that if you've heard about this, you've heard about how you can qualify for free tuition, which is very exciting, but there are some stipulations. So you can go over here to the How It Works tab. So here are some of the requirements of qualifying for a West Virginia Invest Grant. You have to be a legal resident of West Virginia for at least 1 year. You cannot have a previous college degree. You cannot be in default on a federal student loan. But if you're coming right out of high school, like you all are, you don't have to worry about that. Now you do have to have at least 6 credit hours, which is considered part-time for a college. You do have to pay for and take a drug screening before each semester starts. And then they have a requirement that you maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA and that you complete 2 hours of community service every semester. Now, some students will, they kind of worry about the community service part, but we offer several community service options on campus at our events. And so we can easily sign off on that for you. And they do require, the biggest thing is that you have to stay in the state of West Virginia for at least 2 years after completion of the program. That's a big part of why it's called West Virginia Invest, is because they want to keep the younger generation in West Virginia. So like I said, that's just 2 years, which is not very long at all. Now, if you decided to move out of state before those 2 years were over, then it would turn into a loan. Let me see. All right. So Jason, can you hear me? I see that you're on here.
Yes, I can.
All right. If you're ready, I will pass it over to you for a little bit. That way you can go over some of your programs at BridgeValley.
Okay.
I'm going to hijack the presentation.
Okay.
Norm is here with me.
Awesome.
His slides before mine.
Okay, that's perfect, Norm. Whichever works best for you all. All right, so we have a couple of folks here from our technology area at BridgeValley who are going to be speaking about those programs. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I will pass it over to you all.
Alrighty. And I have to show the PowerPoint here first, and then I gotta go full screen. So give me 1 second, and I'm gonna hand off to Norm. Here you go, sir.
Okay, hello and greetings from computers, manufacturing and engineering technologies at BridgeValley. The first thing I like to do is actually talk about why do our programs. You know, I think when you're sitting there in high school, you're going, oh, Morgantown, Huntington, all of those places. So some of the stuff Hannah's already gone over. Yeah, I always put free in air quotes, but the one nice thing is every program in our area qualifies for WV Invest. So as long as you're coming out of high school, you are going to get funding for our programs. Okay. Now, the other reason you'd like to do our programs as opposed to maybe going to WVU or Marshall, though that's a good choice also, is we tend to be a little more applied and hands-on. You know, a lot of our programs are very similar to the programs you're going to run into at the four-year schools. But what you'll find is we usually go about the material a little differently. In the four-year programs, we spend a lot of time on theoretical development because we have time for it. Here in the two-year colleges, we don't have that time. So we tend to take a little more of a seat of the pants, shoot from the hip approach. Our stuff is based on knowing the theory and then applying it and doing that application hands-on. So you tend to have a little less theoretical background, but a little more practical experience. And really the difference between going to us and going to a four-year in many ways gets down to just your attitude. If you want to do a lot of theory and that's what you find fun, I'd recommend doing the four-year program. If you tend to be a dive in and figure it out kind of person, you probably want our program. You need to have the same kind of analytical skills and thought processes. It's just how you like to go about doing things. So without belaboring it too much, we're hands-on. We have tons of opportunities now. You'd be amazed. People are crying for our students. We have more positions for graduates, for internships while we're in school than we have students to fill them. So this is an awesome time to enter the technology area. Even if you couldn't get funded for school from state mandates, I've got employers who are paying for you to go to school while you work for them. So there's incredible amounts of opportunities in our area. And finally, you know, you're not necessarily done just because you got a degree from BridgeValley. What you'll find is many of our students go on and keep growing in their careers. I don't like to drop names, but I got one student who picked up 3 degrees from us, went on and got his 4-year, and now basically runs one of the larger manufacturing concerns here in Charleston. So, you know, this is the first step on your journey through life, and I think it's a pretty good one. So with that, I just want to hop through our programs and kind of talk about some of the neat features.
Hey, Jason, before you started on the program, before you got on, I let the teachers know that we're going to stop occasionally for a chat challenge and ask them questions. So it's time for that before you get started. So teachers, here's your first chat challenge. Please talk with your students and answer in the chat. I want to know, so far, what has been the most surprising thing that you have learned about BridgeValley Community and Technical College? So talk to your students and please put your answers and your school name in the chat. Greenbrier East said the gaming program. I agree. You know, I think that's really cool that you guys have that gaming program and showing us your esports room. Yeah, again, Scott High School mentioning the esports room. Yeah, Wayne High School, you can go at no cost. Yes, the West Virginia Invest program is amazing. And I think I always try and find the opportunity to let people know that that's available as well.
I just wanted to say I'm the advisor for the esports program, so I'm like super excited that you guys are excited about it.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's a huge, you know, new program for you guys. That's wonderful. Okay, thank you, everyone. If you'd like to proceed, we'll stop for another chat challenge here in a few minutes.
Okay, and basically I was just gonna list off our programs, and I realize I have to share the channel with others, so I'll try to not go on too long. First thing I'd like to say is you look at all these slides, you'll see that we have incredible equipment. When I was young, which I won't admit to when that was, you know, I always thought the community college was kind of the old place and this and that. I'll tell you, my facilities here are better than I had as an undergrad student by far. I would have been totally envious. So as I go through the slides, take a look at all the equipment and the facilities, and I think you'll be really impressed. The first area I'd like to address is the straight engineering technology programs, and we group a number of programs together under that umbrella, but the 3 main ones are civil engineering technology, electrical engineering technology, and mechanical engineering technology. And strangely enough, they're kind of exactly what you say or what you'd think. Civil deals with building, you know, infrastructure, bridges, roads, surveying, stuff like that. Electrical does communication, power distribution, automation, instrumentation. Mechanical does mechanisms, thermal systems, and that kind of stuff. What makes them different than going to engineering at Marshall or engineering at WVU? And once again, it's that hands-on, seat of the pants thing. Instead of going through a bunch of calcs and physics and chemistries, we tend to do college algebra, trig, and an introductory calc, and then you're out making whatever mistakes we make. We learn a little bit in the School of Hard Knocks. You immediately dig right into the program material and get to start applying stuff. So pretty exciting. This is actually our controls classroom So if you look over, you can see a whole mess of factory automation stuff. And if I can get advanced to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, and then the next program is, got skipped over. Yeah, excuse me. I think we're all pushing on the screens, is the advanced manufacturing technology. And what this is we found that a lot of the modern systems combine a bunch of things together. So it's no longer just purely electrical, purely mechanical. You've got elements of both. And depending on the focus you take, we've actually got two programs. One is more of a maintenance manufacturing focused program, and it kind of leans on technologies that support automation and the implementation of the manufacturing processes, and that's the maintenance program. The other approach you can take to that is you still want to know those kind of things, but then we want to worry more about running CNC equipment, doing machining, and actually fabrication sorts of stuff. And that's the fabrication concentration. Okay. And if you look over into our pictures there, you can see that's a rack of the kind of equipment you work with in that area. Okay. Then yet another area in the engineering technology program is the highways engineering technology. This actually implements the transportation engineering technology program from the DOH. So this actually is done by people while they're working for the DOH, but you can also enroll in this program independently. The really cool thing about this program is it's completely online. You can do it from all over the state, and it's all the classes that make it up are completely online. And the certifications or the levels that you get in this directly transfer into the transportation area jobs. So if you do end up working for DOH or one of the engineering firms that work with DOH, you have all your certification levels and stuff as you go on. Then we kind of transition out of those areas. But before I go, I'd just like to say all of those are remarkably hot. There's incredible numbers of internships, paid apprenticeships. Half of my students now actually have a job and get sent back to school. So this is a really good way to immediately get your feet on the ground and actually start doing stuff out in the real world with your career, and then also pick up the background that you need to advance. Okay. Now, as we go over to the applied technologies, these are a little more focused on the actual subject area. So you're going to see chemical operator and process technology. You'll see they say CAS and AAS. That's just a 1 year or 2 year program. Both of these deal with the chemical process industry operator training. You can do the 1 year program and immediately leap in, or do the 2 year program. And it depends on the company. Once again, acres of internship and on the job training opportunities. And I'm not sure if that's a bing that I'm talking too much, but I should speed up. This is some of our equipment. This is one of only a handful of process training units in the country. So pretty phenomenal equipment. This is some more process equipment that implements the things you're working with in that program. Then another exciting program we have is the instrumentation, measurement, and control gas measurement program. This focuses on implementing a lot of the technician training that you would get to work in the gas industry. And you can see it's all full of equipment. Most of this has been donated by our industrial partners who are anxious to get a hold of people. They're putting them in, like I said, is the common theme, while they're actually already working for them, and then hiring people up as they get out. So a lot of opportunities in that area. This is another unique program. It's what we call Flex. Because so many of the people in this program are actually already working in field, we make it so that you can do most of your course content remotely, and then you can show up at times that work in your schedule to work with the instructors and do the lab material or work on any questions that you have. So this is what we call Flex. And we have people who will come in, every other week on the weekends or when they happen to be going by. So that's an incredible opportunity to have a college program that fits into your schedule. Still more equipment. And then I will wrap it up on my part of this and say, we are currently rearranging, and we have 2 additional programs, the diesel technology and the welding technology programs. And they do exactly what you would think. The diesel program tends to do heavy equipment and over the road, focuses on engines and materials associated with that kind of thing. Welding is pretty much a broad spectrum introduction to all the welding processes, and eventually culminates in pipe welding. So a lot of job opportunities in those areas. Once again, for the most part, we've got more opportunities for students that we actually have students. So whether you want to do a little more theoretical stuff with engineering technology or a little more focused and applied, I think we have all sorts of programs to meet your needs. And with that, apparently we all like computers and esports, so I'm going to put Jason on.
Jason, before you get started, I'm just going to stop and do a chat challenge again.
Sounds good.
Teachers, let's talk to your students, and I want to know maybe one question that they would like to ask this college. And maybe we can take a couple of those before Jason continues. So with everything that you guys have heard so far, which is a lot of information, what is one question that perhaps your students have at this point? And remember, if you participate in the chat challenge at the end of this call, you could win a $20 gift card if you participate. Okay, we have a couple. We have a question of when are orientation dates for BridgeValley?
Yeah, so I will actually answer that one since I'm in the admissions area. We offer our orientation online. So when students sign up at BridgeValley, you are required to complete your orientation the week that classes start, but we don't have specifically a gathering of orientation. Now we do offer what's called welcome days. So if you need to come in and learn about the school and print your schedule out, make sure everything's set, we do that. But orientation itself is not set on specific dates. And so it's a little bit easier and a little more convenient for our students because some of them work and have families to offer that online.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. We also have another question in the chat that says, do you offer underwater welding?
No, we do not, but it is a very lucrative area to get into.
Okay, great. And Wayne County High School wants to know, can someone come in and see the computer labs?
We are more than happy to have you
Yes.
show pretty much anytime.
Yeah, specifically, I will, at the end of this, I will give our information. You can always schedule an individual tour. And if you can let us know that's what you want to see, we'll arrange it so that, if you want to check out the esports lab or anything like that, we'll definitely make it happen.
And if faculty are in the building when you're doing a tour, we'll gladly talk to you about the programs as well.
Great. Thank you for answering those questions. Those were some great questions. Okay, let's learn a little bit more about your esports program.
Okay, so this isn't really the esports program right here. This is the Computers and Information Technology
Oh,
Department.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. The esports program is actually one of our clubs and collegiate teams that we're going to be competing with. And I can talk more and answer questions about that in a moment. But this is our Computers and Information Technology Department that houses 3 two-year associate's degrees. I have them listed here. We have cybersecurity and networking, a computer science degree with a concentration in software developer, and another computer science degree with a concentration in web design. We also offer a 1-year certificate in computer maintenance. So for computer science, that might be a kind of a broad term for some of you, but we break it down to software developer and web design. And here I have listed some of the programming languages and tools we use in those degrees. For software developer, you will learn Python, which is a language that has skyrocketed in popularity. Google uses it, Apple uses it, several big studios use it. And then C#, which is a big language in the field as well, that's produced, I believe, by Microsoft with Visual Studio and their suite of programming tools. We also have a focus on object-oriented programming. So if you're ever looking at job postings, you might see someone with a skill set in object-oriented programming as a desired skill. You probably will also see the other 2 languages I mentioned there, but we also offer web design as a concentration, and we focus on HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and PHP, which are all different web languages that do different parts of the logic in building and operating a website. And if you don't know what the difference between these are, software is what an application might be. And that could be an application on your computer, an application on your phone, wherever something is staying on a device. Whereas web design is anything on the World Wide Web, the internet, as we like to call it. And there's some overlap there because there's a lot of web applications now available. So you can log into Netflix, for example, on a computer, and it's also an app on your phone. So it's a lot of crossover. And then we also offer cybersecurity and networking. We are a Cisco networking academy, which means we follow the Cisco curriculum. You've probably heard of Cisco as a manufacturer of like routers and switches. If you've ever bought a router, it's probably owned by Cisco. They're probably the biggest company there is, so we partner with them. Most of our courses go towards some level of industry certification. So when you finish a course, you're probably gonna get a certification that's gonna be something you can put on a resume. It's a very in-demand field. If you have any kind of data, there's somebody out there that wants to steal it. So all these companies are usually wanting cybersecurity professionals. I was talking to somebody who was visiting Charleston yesterday, who's actually selling cybersecurity software to businesses and government agencies in West Virginia, and then he's traveling to North Carolina next. So there's a lot of demand in this field. Anytime you've probably heard of a hack happening on the news, there was probably a bunch of cybersecurity people working their butts off to fix it. So there's a lot of people working in that industry. And networking professionals those are the people that keep your networks running. They are keeping networks running in a business setting or connecting multiple sites together. For example, we have a campus in Montgomery and a campus in South Charleston, and we have IT people who work for us to keep our data connected between those 2 campuses so we can continue to operate. We don't have as many flashy things to show as Norm did with his photos, but I did go around this morning and snap a few photos of some interesting things. So the middle photo here is what we like to call a pod. And the cybersecurity and networking curriculum students use this to practice using routers and switches hands-on. So we do have some hands-on stuff. It's not all sitting in front of a computer all day. So we have, how many of these do we have in the room? 12? Yeah. So somewhere about 12 in the room. So sometimes you may work with another student to do assignments and things like that and actually set up networks. Like, so if you have a diagram that says you need 3 routers and 2 switches, then you can actually use the routers and switches in these pods to actually connect a mini network within the lab. And then the picture on the far right is actually a server rack that's in our hallway down here, which is the house for our new NetAcad software, which will let you log in remotely to do work for different courses we have here. So you can have a virtualized environment. So you can set up virtual computers, virtual servers to do all sorts of things. And we're very hopeful to get that off the ground and be using that shortly. And then the bottom corner photo is just a photo of the room we're actually in right now. It is our high performance computer lab. There are computers within the desk that can have the capacity to do things like AutoCAD and other high-end software. A lot of times our computers in our program are just laptops, but for certain things we need high-end computers to do certain skills. That's the room we are in right now. So that's all I have for our program. Are we supposed to do questions next? I'm not sure.
Yes, that was great. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into to another question. And, you know, I wanted to just say, I just think that what you guys are doing there is so important. And I feel like it's such a growing industry. Not that I know much about it, but just cybersecurity in general is so important. And it just seems like it's becoming more and more important.
That's actually one of our most popular programs right now, and it's been going up every semester. So you are exactly right.
Okay, so let's do another question and then we'll let BridgeValley finish up. And if you do have any other questions after that, you can ask as many as you want. So the final question that I want to ask for the chat challenge is name one positive quality that makes BridgeValley unique. So I'd like to hear from the schools and their opinion. What is one positive quality that makes BridgeValley unique? Okay, Scott High School says that more programs than students. Hannah, would you like to speak to that as to why, you know, that is important?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, our student to instructor ratio is very small, which is very helpful for one-on-one learning. The average class size at BridgeValley is about 10 students. And we offer over 40 programs at this point. So we have a lot of flexibility of your interests, and you know, you're definitely not going to become just a number at BridgeValley. Your instructor will know you by name, and you might not like that, or you can use that to your benefit, but it's great. You know, we try to build a community with having smaller classrooms.
Right. Yeah, and you know, Greenbrier East High School said the flexibility of the classes, students being able to come in when they are available. Wayne High School said that BridgeValley has well-informed instructors and great up-to-date programs. And I agree with Wayne High School. That's what sticks out to me about BridgeValley, is that your programs are always evolving and up to date with the needs in our community and these jobs that are hands-on. Great. Good job, everybody, for answering questions. All right, Hannah, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay, perfect. And thank you, Jason and Norm, for giving us information about the tech programs. I'm just going to finish up with some general overview of BridgeValley, specifically the admissions and financial aid processes, so the fun stuff. So let me just share my screen really quickly. I'll have to pull up my presentation, and then we will finish out with that. Okay. So as I said before, we have two campuses, one in South Charleston, one in Montgomery. And, you know, Norm and Jason both touched on this a little bit, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it. But some of the things that make us unique is that we are affordable, we're accessible. So we're, you know, we're in South Charleston, we're accessible to a lot of people. We have a lot of commuter students, and we're innovative. We're constantly trying to present and offer programs that you will use in a career, especially if you like to be hands-on, you want to get in the workforce, you want to get in there and do things. Cybersecurity is a great example of that, advanced manufacturing, welding. So just to touch a little bit on what a community and technical college is, in case you all don't know, but it's a local college that offers 2-year associate degrees and certifications in high demand careers. So these are some of the benefits that I touched on previously. You know, we do have those small classroom sizes, and that's really great for, you know, knowing your instructors, being able to learn from them, asking questions. You want to be able to reach your instructor in case you need clarification. And we like being able to connect with our students. We offer, a lot of our programs offer on-the-job training. For example, our utility line service program that we offer, a lot of students will work with AAP while they're in that program. And I know a lot of that type of stuff happens with the Toyota internship for advanced manufacturing. We want to make sure that you are trained and ready to go into the workforce as best as we can have that happen within your certification or your associate's degree. A big thing too is the flexible schedule at BridgeValley. Norm touched on a couple of our programs like our highway engineering that's fully online. Several of our programs are flexible in that they can be online, they can be in person, they could be remote access. And we also try to offer a variety of scheduled times. So we only have classes 4 days a week typically. And we will offer classes from 8 a.m. up until 8 p.m. We have some students that are non-traditional that have families and are working and are also coming to college. And so we try to offer a wide variety of options for them to fit their needs. And Norm touched on this as well, but you can transfer this 2-year degree that you earn from BridgeValley to a 4-year school. So say that you want to just save some money and then transfer to WVU or to West Virginia State University or Marshall or even somewhere out of state. We are nationally accredited and you can do that at BridgeValley. Another benefit of community college is just easing into the college experience. Maybe you don't want to go live at a dorm quite yet, but you do want to take some college classes and get a feel for it. That's a benefit of it. At a community college, like I said, we have such a diverse student body and also instructors as well, but you will really diversify your experience being around so many different people from so many different areas of life. And that's always great for you just as a person, so you learn things about life and you learn from your peers and you also learn the tools and the material that you need. And you can get involved at your own pace. And so this goes similar with the Ease into the College experience. We have, just like our esports organization, we have a Harry Potter organization. We have over 20 student organizations. So if you want to get involved, if there's a certain subject that you're interested in, you can do that at your own pace. And one of the big things that I touch on, and this is probably true for most colleges, but students aren't aware of it, is that we offer free tutoring and career prep. So we offer tutoring for any subject for free at our Student Success Center on both of our campuses. And we also offer free career services. And what that means is that we will help you prep your resume. We will help you with interview styles. We'll help you practice for an interview. And we offer job fairs and job placement through career services as well. We are test optional. And so we do have some programs that are what's called selective admission, and they do require TEAS test scores, or they might have certain ACT or SAT score requirements. But the majority of our programs are test optional. And what that means is if you haven't taken the ACT or the SAT, that's totally fine. What we do is we give you a free placement test on campus. It's called the AccuPlacer test. And that just helps us determine what English and math courses to start you in for your program. But the ACT or the SAT isn't required for your admission. All right, I'm just checking my time here. Okay. This is a list of some of the programs that we offer. I'm not going to go through every single one of these because it's a lot, but since we touch so heavily on technology, I will go over. We have a lot of also business and health programs. We offer business administration, cardiac sonography, criminal justice. We have one of the 3 dental hygiene programs in the state. We offer diagnostic medical sonography, a nursing program, LP and RN program, paramedic program. On the business side of things, we have things like medical coding, office administrator, technical studies. We also have a vet tech program, a respiratory therapy program. So it's a very wide variety of things that are in demand. We also have things like general education. So if students want to come to BridgeValley just to take like a year of gen ed courses to transfer somewhere else, you can totally do that. That's definitely not out of the options. Another way to get immediately into the workforce, because some people know that they want to start working immediately and they don't want to spend 4 years in school. Because as Norm was saying earlier, you kind of have to know what you want, and every person is different. You can earn a certification through our workforce programs. And this is a list of some of the programs that we offer. You know, we have things like the utility line service program, a drone program, horizontal drilling, CDL, heavy equipment, and the list goes on. Even something as simple as real estate. We have certifications for real estate. We will help you through that. That's a very popular program actually on our workforce side. We also offer ACT and SAT prep. So we don't require it for our school, but if you would like just to work with BridgeValley for ACT and SAT prep courses, we can definitely help you with that. And this is the big one, because money is, whether we like to admit it or not, a big part of college. We are very affordable. We're an affordable option. Even if you just want to come to BridgeValley for a year and then transfer somewhere else, our full-time tuition for students for an entire year is $4,502 before financial aid. So before things like the FAFSA and the West Virginia Invest Grant and the Pell Grant, that is the cost of tuition. Now, that doesn't include special program fees or books. And books typically can be rented or can be bought through our bookstore. There are a few different options for that. Certain programs have special fees, such as dental hygiene. You have to have certain tools for that. I know that our diesel program has tools that they require for their program. So those are not included in the cost of this. And this is a big one. How do I pay for college? I've talked about the FAFSA. This is something that everyone is required to do going to college unless you are completely paying out of pocket. And I just want to go over these deadlines since we're coming up on these. March 1st is the priority deadline for the Promise Scholarship in West Virginia. So you will want to go to fafsa.gov and make sure that you file your FAFSA by March 1st if you're hoping for the Promise Scholarship. April 15th is the deadline for the higher education grant in West Virginia. And I have students sometimes ask me, can I get financial aid even though I miss these deadlines? And absolutely, yes. You always want to file your FAFSA. You can still get aid, but for these things specifically, you want to meet those deadlines. BridgeValley does have their own scholarship application as well. You can find it at bridgevalley.awardspring.com. And then last but not least, I'm just going to quickly talk about the enrollment process. Since you all are in high school and coming out of high school, it's going to be pretty simple for you. You're going to want to apply for admission at BridgeValley, which you can do on our website, bridgevalley.edu. You will want to complete your FAFSA application and send us your transcripts. So if you haven't graduated yet, you can go ahead and send those over if you have test scores on them. And then once you graduate, have your counselor send us your transcripts with your final graduation date on it. If you have taken some dual enrollment courses at a local college, we will also need transcripts from those as well. And you can typically request those through the websites. If you would like to visit us on campus, I'm going to actually drop my contact information in the chat if you all should meet us. You can always go to our website and schedule a visit as well under the admissions tab. I believe since our website has changed, it is now under the future students tab. But this is our email for admissions and financial aid, and also our phone number, and I will put this in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing your contact information and everything. We have about 4 minutes, and I know Jason had mentioned that he could maybe answer some questions about the esports club that you guys have. So we don't have a lot of time, but Jason, if you want to keep it open for the questions for that program, or just give a very brief overview of the, and it's not a program. I understand that it's a club.
It's an extracurricular kind of activity. Valley has many different clubs and organizations affiliated with our student life program, like Hannah mentioned, and we just launched this last August. There was a lot of research involved in it, and it's actually 2 parts. There's a club that anyone can join. There's no fee or anything, and they can play any game that we have on campus. They can bring their own games, whatever they want. But the team is loosely affiliated with a conference, kind of like a college sport would be affiliated with a conference. And we have to play the games on their list and participate in events that they would schedule for us. Now, I said we're loosely affiliated with it because there's like a loose affiliation, which means the things you do are free to do. or if you become a full member, there's a fee and they actually put you on a schedule, just like a team would be on a schedule for college basketball or college football or something. And you're scheduled to actually compete against other institutions at specific events. So we're hoping to get one of our teams on a schedule, possibly in the fall of this coming year. But right now we're kind of in that we just started kind of phase. So we're going to maybe try and do some exhibitions. Some of the games we play are Valorant. Help me out, Evan.
Valorant,
Call of Duty. I think the most recent Madden game is the one they're doing right now. Apex Legends, Fortnite. Did you say Warzone? Warzone. One of our esports students is in the room with me right now, and so I had to ask him to make sure I said everything correctly. We also were going to try and do little events on campus. We want to do a Super Smash Brothers tournament for students on campus that we're going to sponsor. So different stuff like that. So if you have any specific questions, I can answer those. Or if you want to email me, jason.spencer@bridgevalley.edu, I will write that in the chat. I can also answer any questions you may have about any of the programs in the Computers and Information Technology program that I mentioned. And Hannah and Norm both mentioned, if I can type my email correctly, they both mentioned the West Virginia Invest grant. I'm also an outreach coordinator for BridgeValley, which means I do K through 12 events, specifically in STEM related things. So if you've been to the Capital City Pumpkin Drop, I'm on the committee that helps do that. If any of you or your siblings came to STEAM Academy at BridgeValley, I do that. We also do Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day, Discover Engineering a Day at the Clay Center, as well as other Engineering Week activities. And then we also do VEX robotics competitions. So you have to have community service hours to get the West Virginia Investing Grant. So I'm your guy if you need to find community service affiliated with BridgeValley, because I can bring you to the event. You can volunteer for me, help me put the event on, and sign off your paperwork, and you're good to go.
Thank you so much, Jason. And a big thank you to BridgeValley. You guys have a wide variety of things happening and good things happening at BridgeValley. So thank you for guiding us through all of that today. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for